One woman has been killed and a man airlifted to hospital after a house exploded in Kitchener's Forest Heights neighborhood this morning. Emergency crews were called to Sprucedale Crescent about 8 o'clock. At least 3 were injured. Neighbors describe the blast.
I was driving home and coming around the corner, I just heard this big explosion and insulation like it was snowing out. And I drove my Jeep down there and I was yelling at the neighbors to get out of their house.
The affected area is huge. A number of other homes damaged. The debris field widespread. Sprucedale Crescent is in the Forest Heights area of Kitchener, bounded by Highland Road, Fisher-Hallman Road, and the Expressway. It is almost entirely residential. Police say the house that exploded is destroyed. 2 neighboring homes severely damaged. This is what the home looked like before. Good afternoon. We have extensive coverage of the blast that rocked the Kitchener neighborhood. Police, fire, and EMS deploying all available resources to Sprucedale Crescent shortly after 8 o'clock. They remain on scene, still battling flames. And that is where we find CTV's Nicole Lampa. Nicole, police say 2 people were found in the backyard.
That's right, Nancy. The explosion was so forceful that a couple were found in a backyard, a woman dead. This is what's left of 64 Sprucedale Crescent after an explosion. Those living across the street describe chaos.
I thought it was in an earthquake and kind of held on to the bed because it was shaking. And then when I stood up, I looked out the bedroom window and I just saw debris all over the road.
Within minutes, fire ripped through the home. Neighbors say 2 people lived in the home and 2 people were found in the backyard.
Upon arrival, firefighters located 1 deceased and 1 injured individual.
No confirmation those found were the home's residents. Officials say a pet dog was found inside, dead. Police say they are investigating. No word yet on the cause.
It's premature to call it anything more than a death investigation. We haven't been able to get to the scene for obvious reasons. It's still unsafe to do so.
The scene now involving neighboring properties.
We are currently actively fighting fires in 3 homes related to the explosion. As you can see, this was a significant event that called all of our available resources.
And Nancy, the home that exploded is actually 56 Sprucedale Crescent. Now, police say everyone in the area is accounted for, but there is still no determination of what caused the explosion. We'll have more on the story later on, and we should note that right now a coroner is doing an autopsy on the woman who was found deceased, and they tell us that they'll have an update in a couple of hours. Nancy.
Nicole Lampa live at the scene. CTV's Christina Succi is at the command post just around the corner on Blackwell Drive. Christina, the explosion was so powerful, neighbors say they felt it from blocks away.
That's right, Nancy. I've spoken to a number of residents, some as far as 10 blocks away, and they say this was intense. Their entire house shook, windows, doors blown open. Now, one of those residents I spoke to captured some unbelievable footage from right outside this blast. It was taken on Blackwell Drive. Now, take a look at this. This video taken right from Blackwell Drive, which intersects with Sprucedale Crescent, and you can see just how dark that plume of smoke was. Neighbors describing the flames as shooting about 100 feet into the sky. The smoke reaching as high as 300 feet. Now, Rick Berenz has lived on Blackwell Drive for more than 30 years, and he says he has never seen anything like this. Here he is describing the moment it happened.
I heard a very loud rumbling. It was like intense thunder, and then after that, within about a second or 2, there was a very, very loud explosion. I actually had thought that an airplane had crashed in my backyard. The house shook a little bit. It was a very intense fire. I've never seen anything like that before in my entire life. And if you look at all the activity around here, I mean, I've never seen so many police cars and ambulances and fire trucks and mobile commands, throughout here.
Now, we have spoken to a number of residents throughout this entire neighborhood, and some of which have homes that back onto the property of the house that exploded, and they are simply too distraught to appear on camera. They are extremely upset. Nancy.
Christina Succi reporting live. few details right now on the extent of the injuries from the house explosion. CTV's Natalie Van Roy was there when an air ambulance transported one person in Kitchener. Natalie.
The orange helicopter ready to go when an ambulance and police rushed to the pad. There, several emergency responders transferred a patient over to the Orange Air ambulance, working quickly to get ready to take off. Officials say that a man was airlifted to Hamilton General with critical injuries from the explosion. The exact nature of his injuries are unclear at this time. His age not yet known. A woman killed in the explosion, police not commenting on the cause of death, but the coroner will be called to examine. Now, we don't know if these are the owners of the home. Those details are not clear yet. We also don't know yet if others in the neighborhood were injured or if those injured were all on the property. Nancy?
A lot of details still to come. Thank you, Natalie. This isn't the first time a house explosion has rocked a Kitchener neighborhood. 5 years ago, a family of 4 was asleep when their home exploded on Activa Avenue. CTV's Rosie Del Campo is here with a look back at that incident. Rosie.
Nancy, the house explosion on Activa Avenue happened just before midnight on a Sunday in the middle of winter. Some neighbors said they thought they heard thunder. Others thought it was an earthquake, and they were stunned when they saw what that explosion did in their neighborhood.
The Nguyen family was asleep when their home at the corner of Activa Avenue and Isaiah Drive exploded.
My entire house shook. I thought it was an earthquake at first.
All 4 family members were taken to hospital. 3 of them released quickly, while the family's father underwent surgery in Hamilton for a broken pelvis.
I tried to stand up, but I fell down 3 times because my pelvis broken.
The explosion led to a fireball that lit up the night sky and left hundreds of neighbors wondering if their homes were safe.
My whole family is still scared.
Gas inspections were conducted in the area, and more than half of the homes checked had gas leaks.
The Nguyen family rebuilt their home on the same lot. Fire officials did not confirm an official cause of that explosion, but after those gas inspections, they did say that that area was still safe. Today, some neighbors there say they still remember that winter night and still don't know exactly what happened. Nancy.
Thank you, Rosie.